Yeah, it's like, I think that end goal is so like pictured inside their head that they're not focusing on what's happening around them.
This is the CLIMACO podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the CLIMACO podcast. Today's guest, man, this guy's a beast in trading. My boy Denzel. What's up, bro?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. So yes, my name is Denzel, but I'm also known as Chase Banks on the charts, and I've been having a good time.
Oof. Why? Why did they call you that?
Chase is actually my middle name, so it's
Okay.
actually Denzel Chase Johnson. However, the Banks actually I added it myself. The main reason why I added it was because I was mentored by Q Banks, and for me, it was like more for me to actually pay homage to him.
Got
Because
it.
it's like,
That's what's up.
yeah, it's like if someone put me on, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm loyal. So it's like, okay, hey, I'm gonna take on the bank's name. At the point in time, the S wasn't available for the username, so I had the Z, and I'm from the Caribbean, so it's like, adding a Z behind something is like almost like an S. So it's like,
Right.
let me just use Banks instead with a Z.
Incredible. Let's start at the beginning. Where are you from? What's your background? Where'd you grow up?
All right, so ironically, I'm actually born here, but I was not raised here.
Florida?
Yeah, I was born in Florida, right inside Broward actually. But my parents are Bahamian natives, so my mom decided to move back home when I was like around 1 or 2, and
Okay.
I actually was, and her home was Bahamas, so I was raised in the Bahamas ever since.
Not a bad place to grow up, man.
Not really, but
No?
then also at the same time too, when you get used to an environment, it also has certain limitations.
Got it.
So it's like for you, like how you say you were in New York.
Yeah.
Not a bad place to grow up in New York, but
No.
when you were, raised there, that's all you really knew. It's like
Right.
it's New York. When
get
people
used to
visit, they'd be like, "Oh wow, the Empire State."
Right.
So yeah, you get used to it.
Desensitized.
Yeah, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I mean, I went to school. I was actually very good in basketball.
Okay.
So I used to actually play a lot of sports, and that's all you.
What'd you
could've
play? Two guard?
So I was either a point guard or a shooting guard. At that point in time, I was one of the tallest growing up in my primary school and also high school coming in. So people wanted me to be a center. Like coaches wanted me to be a center inside primary school. I'm like, yo,
Fuck that.
I don't like
What a
I like to
shoot.
shoot, man. I like to make plays. I like to pass. And then eventually, when I reached out to high school, I realized that, you know, get like when you start playing inside AAU and all these different guys inside the United States, these guys are big. They're tall. I'm like, nah, bro, I'm not no center. Like, I'm a guard, so I have to play as a
Yeah.
guard. So that's pretty much like what I did. But sports, it was soccer, basketball, tennis, volleyball, track and field.
Where'd you go to high school?
So I went to Kingsway Academy. Go Saints, I guess. I don't know. I'm not really that much of a school spirit guy. The main reason why is because I actually hated school, bro. I hated school.
Bro, I hear that from every single entrepreneur I interview. They either hated school or ended up dropping out.
The thing was, for me personally, I used to actually get bullied a lot from primary school up to high school, and it was due to my mom. She was actually sick, so the way that I carried myself, I couldn't had the best things in the world because we had to pay medical bills. So it was, and I used to also sleep a lot in school too. So I had this nickname. They used to either call me Sleepy because every single class except for art and music, ironically, the subjects that people or the things that people don't see as real education,
Right.
I never used to sleep in those, but let it be Spanish, let it be maths or whatever. Well, I'm asleep, bro.
Tired.
Like I remember at one point in time, I stepped through the whole entire like ninth grade. Like I'm dead ass serious. Like, bro, I'm probably just being mediocre inside the test and shit. And somehow I still end up like passing all of they have these educational tests called BJCs and BJCSEs. So the education exam for BJCs was ninth grade. I think I was like maybe one of the third best.
Wow.
So it's like, I had all A's, all B's, no C's. And it was like, Okay, cool, whatever.
School is such bullshit. It's such a man-made build construct that it's not. They want it to be like a cookie cutter, one size fits all, but it's not.
The only thing that I would appreciate from school, and I'll say this, is the time blocking. That's it.
Okay.
School was very structured. You know,
Yes.
You every day you woke up, you know what you had to go to.
Yeah.
You had English, you had maths, you had physics, you had art, you had this break, you had lunch. I feel as if transitioning from school into the adult life, you should keep that timetable structure, but forget about the other, mediocre bullshit that they offer you. Because like if you was to stay structured like that throughout your whole entire day and stick to that, I think your productivity would be 110%.
At the same time that I agree with you, I wish that they would teach that structure, right? Because they expect you to learn from it by just going through it. Like for example, school should teach you to have a morning routine. School should teach you how to eat. School should teach you about taxes, right? All these little important things that we call adulting, right? Should be taught in high school, and it's not.
Yeah, I feel as if practicality or these subjects that actually is practical, they don't offer it inside school.
Yeah.
And I think one of the main reasons why is because the whole entire educational system is dependent on start, and then they define what that finish point is. And the main reason why I said that is because if you look at this whole overall wheel, you'll see that, hey, when you're inside school, you're studying, 9 times out of 10 they say, oh, well, no real profession is a doctor or a lawyer or all these different type of things. Okay, great. Okay, that might be a good profession, but what is the price point of education to obtain that degree? And when you look at it from that point, it's like, okay, hey, we're gonna put this cog inside their head, make them understand that they need to do this, do that, do this, and then while their parents are paying maybe whatever X amount of school fees, when they get to college, this is where we really hit them with the 150, 200, 300,000.
Correct.
And then, okay, cool. Now we also need to make sure that they cannot afford it. So if they cannot afford, let's get them a loan so that they can actually provide us that money for the next 20, 25 years. So it's like more or less like whoever designed the whole entire education, school fee, making it valuable, it was not to actually say, okay, well, hey, we don't want to empower them because some people can get empowered by the professions.
It's a trap.
Think about it. Some people are still paying off student loan debts and they're already 40. And they graduated from college from when they was 24, 25.
Yeah.
And if you're
Looking at them.
and the thing is that if you actually taught these kids or taught people the practicality of, how money works, how to really be practical with spending, how to really be practical with all these different things, that's real social situations and also economical situations, the world would be more independent, not dependent. Because right now everybody's depending on so many different things.
Right. How do you think being bullied had an effect in your life?
And to this day, it makes me feel like I still have something to prove. I feel as if you have those people who are the doubters and naysayers, like, yo, you can never be this, you can never be that.
Yeah.
And to me, honestly, bullying, and shout out to all the people that are actually being bullied before. I want you guys to understand that the reason why you're being bullied is because you have a gift and the person doesn't like the gift. That's all it is. Don't let nobody dim your light. Don't let nobody take that bottle of lightning that you have acquired or what God have actually blessed you with. Don't let that up. And when I really understood that within myself and understood that, yo, no one can dim my light or no one can take my shine, I just flourished. To this day, I have people from high school that still reach out to me, still asking me for this, asking me how to do that. Even ask me how to trade or how to get, their money up. And it's like, you're the same people that's actually making my life live in hell in high school. I don't want to do anything with you guys. I don't want to do anything in general. I felt as if being bullied helped me understand what I want and what I don't want. Also made me empathetic to other people. But yeah, those are things that I'm actually working throughout life with.
How did you come to that understanding of nobody could dim my light?
Um, I think it actually stemmed from my mom, honestly and truthfully. When my mom was sick, uh, I was her only child, and I had to learn how to, cook, clean, do all these things. And I was doing this from the age of 8. So I didn't really had a very normal childhood per se. But
Your only child?
I was her only child.
Got it.
But in regards to that aspect, the whole premise of me making something for myself was to say, yo, I got to get my mom with this situation. I want to take care of my mom. Like I remember when I used to play basketball and I was trying to get a scholarship so I could move here. I'm like, yo, mom, I'm gonna get this scholarship, get us move over here, get you the best doctors, get whatever and everything. I went into music, and I became a music artist because I'm like, yo, looking at TV and also the social programming as a black man anywhere, or if you really want to make it, and there was really like pushing that narrative, either you have to be a basketball player or a rapper. Yes, you could be a doctor, a lawyer, whatever, and all that. But if you really want to make some money per se, you got to be one of those two things. So
Is that what led you to music?
yeah. So what led me to music was, hey, I want to make it out, and then also along with that, what also led me to it too was like more therapeutic, more of a release.
Yeah.
I remember my first set of songs I used to actually make inside a washer, like it's like a laundry room.
Okay.
I used to have like a laptop on the washer. I had these I had a headphones like plugged in, and then I used to use the mic from the headphones to make the music, or I would use the laptop microphone and just use my headphones to record with, and that's how I started off.
So creative. How old were you?
11, 12.
That young.
Yeah, I was recording and making my own beats from 11, 12 to a point where I think I was like 14 or 15. And I had people in Holland listening to my music. I had, I think his name is Babyface from Pretty Ricky.
Babyface, yeah.
Like Babyface used to be inside my Twitter asking me to come and host his club. I was in Bahamas. I'm like, bro. I'm like, how you want me to host your club? I'm 15, bro. Like
15.
Like, how you want me to do this shit? Like, so like, yeah, it was a fun time.
That's crazy. How old are you now?
I'm 28.
Okay,
I
it's a
recently
good
turned
age.
28 in October. It's October 25th.
Happy belated.
Yeah, thanks.
28's a good age. I feel like 28 to 30 is when you really become an adult and a man.
Yeah, I think that's the time where you really got to be more serious in life.
I agree.
Anybody who's like from 18 up to 27,
Yeah.
I want like who's ever watching this, if this blow up into 1 million viewers in 2 years or whatever, if you're 18 to the age of 27, that's your time to really experiment life. That's your time to feel forward and smile about it. That's your time to say, you know what, I'm moving up my parents' house, and if I fuck up, I'm gonna go. At least I can still make it up. I look at everything as as different word analogies, but for me personally, if you were 18, 19, you get locked up and you went to prison and they say, hey, we're gonna take 20 years. You gotta stay inside this facility for 20 years. You coming back out 38. You could still make something for yourself from 38.
Yeah.
Like, and still enjoy life. The
For sure.
average lifespan is like between 70 to 80 years. So it's like you could still make something for yourself.
It's not impossible.
Yeah, but not like, now if you 38, you get 20 years in jail now, like, yo,
You're fucked.
You fucked,
Yeah.
So it's like, think about it from that perspective, guys. Like, I see social media really, plays this role of you have to get successful fast. I think it's not to the point where people are not enjoying the process and the journey and also enjoying the process of failing. It's like, if they fail, oh my God, what am I gonna do? X, Y, and Z, etc.
Right.
I never had a lot of money growing up. All I had was time. My time was my most best asset at the point of time. So it's like, bro, I don't mind sacrificing this. I don't mind wasting my years on this or doing this because, like, bro, if I could be able to get what I want by 27, 26, 30, 32, what's the rush about it? I can still live.
Right. Everyone's focused on an end goal, right? Not understanding there is no end goal. It's all a journey. The whole thing is a journey. Enjoy it.
Yeah, it's like, I think that end goal is so like pictured inside their head that they're not focusing on what's happening around them. And I think when you look at that and the time goes by, it's like, yo, what do you really have to show for it? What do you really have to, understand about it? Like, some for the people that actually went to college, yeah, some people may have said, oh, I studied my butt off, I worked X, Y, and Z, et cetera, and all that. They didn't do no partying or whatever and all that. Okay, cool. But you could go ahead and try and do partying at 35, 40, party all night. I'm telling you right now, your recovery is not going to be as it was when you was 19, 20, 21, 22.
No way.
So it's like, hey, at least you could say, when you were young, you lived. Because at the end of the day, when you die, you're not taking anything with you.
Nothing goes.
You're not running with anything with you. And I feel as if the overall goal that people should actually understand is, what is the impact that I'm leaving on this world when I leave? Because I'm not taking anything else. Like, it's only me going. So that's how they have to look at it.
How did your career in trading come to be?
So that's a good question. I think I always was interested in trying to make some money. That was my whole entire thing. I had to figure out how to make money. And at one point in time, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and learn how to trade stocks or get into stocks or whatever, because that's all I really knew. I didn't really know.
I think it's more than just making money, though, right? It's learning to make money and not trade time for it.
Well, honestly, for me personally, at that point in time, I just wanted to make money. The minimum wage inside the Bahamas was, around that time, was like around $5 an hour.
Wow.
$5 to $5.25 an hour. So like when people were, like for me, I think it really changed my life in entrepreneurship. Two most impactful moments for me was my first job. I was actually a grocery packer. So
Okay.
when I was like around 12, I was packing groceries.
And making beats.
Yeah. But I was packing groceries at our local grocery store.
I can see you there like, boom, 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 boom.
But I was at the local grocery store packing groceries there. I was probably one of the most youngest ones. And my first day, I made $55. And I went to my mom, all tips. Like, you don't get paid for packing groceries. You get it based, whatever you get from the purchaser, and they give you get to keep. You don't get to split it with nobody. So I made $55 that first day or so. I went to my mom with it, and I was like, Mom, this is how much money I made. My mom took it. And she's like, oh, she gotta do what it is. She's like, but at the point in time, I'm like, man, but this is my money, this and that. But I understood it. I understood it fully. But then everything also changed for me when I was 14 or 15. One of my primary school friends, he wanted to open up a clothing line called Ill Society. And his uncle had one of the biggest like T-shirts companies in the Bahamas. So ironically, he wanted me to be a partner with him because I used to also do graphic design and stuff. Like I said, I was a jack of all trades. So
You were hustling.
exactly.
Whatever I can do.
Hustling. So I remember at one point in time, and I was living an adult life at 14 or 15 because my mom couldn't drive anymore because of her legs. She had like a real nerve disability, so she couldn't walk. So I took a car. I used to drive a car, and I was one of the youngest in the islands to actually drive a car.
Wow.
Even though if I was to get arrested right now, me and my mom would have been in trouble. But hey,
That's crazy. You have to do what you have to do.
take the risk that we have to
Yeah.
do. But I took the car, and I was
You're a good son.
yeah. Took the car. I was actually doing work, and it was at one point in time when I was, in the car. My mom called me, and she was home, and she was watching her soap operas. So she liked watching her soap operas. It was like All My Children or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So she called me. She's like, Denzel, the cable went out, and I'm like, what you mean? She's like, I can't watch my soap operas. I'm like, okay, cool. So we was really tight with the I think one of the managers at the cable service provider. So I just got paid like about $200. I went over there to the manager myself. I'm 14, 15. I knocked on the door. I'm like, yo, my mom told me that the cable just went out. How much do I need to actually pay y'all so that she could watch this and I'm gonna go back to work? They was like, oh, provide us $150. And I was like, all right, cool. Here's the receipt. Here's the $150. I called my mom. I was like, Mom, I just paid the bill. Is the cable back on? She's like, yeah, I can watch my soap operas. And from then, I was like, you know what? I gotta get bread. I like that was like
What
one
a
of the most
moment. What
yeah,
a
like that was like
powerful
one of the
moment.
most like insane moments for me where it's like, man, my mom called me for something, and it wasn't a situation where it's like I don't know what we're gonna do. It was like more of like
I got this.
I got this. Let me go do what I gotta do. So like that's like one of the things that really made me build up that niche for entrepreneurship. And I look towards trading as entrepreneurship. Trading came around for me when it was like shortly before COVID, someone introduced it to me. And at this point in time, I Am Academy was around.
I know I'm Academy very well. You know Neno?
No,
Okay.
no. I was actually on the cream team, but at this point in time, I Am Academy took storm inside the Bahamas. Everybody was trying to like get into I Am Academy, and everybody was hitting me up like, "Oh yeah, you can learn how to trade. You can make this amount of money, X, Y, and
Yep.
Z." And
I
they
was
was
a part
like,
of it too in a while.
yeah,
for
they
a
was
while.
like, "Oh, you got to bring somebody, whatever, and all that." I'm like,
Yep,
bro,
yep.
I'm not.
Their pyramid scheme.
Yeah, like I'm not bringing nobody. Like, why do I have to bring somebody? Like, if I could really make some money, whatever, why do I have to bring people underneath me, whatever
Right.
the situation may be? So I had somebody. His name
Oh,
was.
because it makes your account free, right? It
Yeah. So like they bring
Their
Ash,
gimmicks.
so Ashton came around. That was one of my very first mentors, and he was like, "Bro, you don't gotta bring nobody. If you want to learn, the information is there." He's like, "You don't have to recruit nobody." I was like, "Bro, you
Right.
sure?" He's like, "Yeah." So I came in underneath him, and I actually liked it. Like when I came in Telegram, they had this Telegram group, and they had some free signals. I put $150 inside an account, and someone sent me these trades. I think it was
Straight Forex, right?
yeah, it's just straightforward. They sent me these trades. I put the shit in not knowing what the fuck I was doing. I went to bed, I woke up, and I made $13. I was like, okay, there's something here. Fuck it. Let's do it. So at that point in time, COVID then recently like came in like maybe 3-4 months afterwards.
Okay.
And I was like, all I did was took all my time and put into learning how to trade. And people was really seeing what I was doing. So they were seeing that, oh, this dude is turning $100 into $1,000 in like 3 days. This dude is actually making withdrawals. He's actually doing this. He's actually doing that. And then they wanted to come to me, but like, yo, come teach me or whatever. And I was like, that was my version of recruiting. It wasn't like, oh, come learn how to trade. I never
Got it.
once really like in the beginning, never
Just your success attracted them.
like inside that academy area there. I think I was one of the very few, if no one even done it, because I don't even think no one did it. I was one of the very few, like someone who came to learn from me. I would go to the local bar. One of my buddies owned a bar. I used to actually buy a bottle of Bel Air to actually give to them, to say, yo, when you make your first trade or you make your first withdrawal, I want you to pop this bottle, because now you kind of like really like you pretty much unlock how to actually make money or unlock your
What
version
a
of
great
success.
strategy.
Yeah, it's like, yo, I'm gonna buy you this bottle. I want you to look at this bottle. Don't drink it or whatever. Look at this bottle. It's a
Right,
promise that we
right.
making to ourselves. When you start to withdraw your funds, then pop open that bottle, and that's something you celebrate, because now you're able to see that, yo, if I did it this time, I know I can do it again. And I can know how to do it again. And that's how I looked at trading, where it's like I didn't really care about how much money I lost, because I know that I took money out the market too. So if I did it before, I could do it again.
What clicked for you in trading? Because people look at those graphs and it's gibberish. All those candles, all those charts. What clicked for you? What did you like? All right, I can see this pattern. I get what's going on here.
For me, was actually really understanding the foundation of it. I feel as if a lot of people come inside this space and they want to be directed on what to do in order for them to make money, but a lot of people don't really explain to them what exactly it is that they're doing. Like, for instance, I know that you said that you have your clinic, right? You may do certain practices or certain things because you know what the result may be, but you may also break down the real, like the basic reason on why you're doing something the way that you're doing it, or what this actually really means.
Right.
Instead of me saying, let's do A, B, and C in order for us to get D, I want to explain to you what is A. I want to explain to you what is B. I want to explain to you what is C.
Got
And
it.
until I met Q, I didn't really understood that. When I was in I Am Academy, yes, I understood these candlesticks. I understood some strategies, But it wasn't really breaking down to me what these candlesticks means, what these areas of support and resistance means, what these price action means. And then when I went to Q, that's when he was able to really help me interpret the data instead of actually mimicking what I see somebody else do, and then hoping I get the same result. And that's where I believe the disconnect is, where anything that you try to do inside life, you have to understand the real purpose of it.
Right.
So that's
The root.
Yeah, the root of it. I feel as if that's how it is. Like, for instance, even in basketball, you want to learn how to shoot like the greats or whatever and all that. There's a main reason why your elbow have to be a certain way, why your wrist have to actually flip a certain way, why your posture have to be a certain way.
Your knees.
Yeah, like people don't understand that. They guys think, oh well, once I do this, it's gonna go in. You have to understand why it missed too.
Luck also happens.
Yeah, it does. But luck can also be replicated. A lot of people don't understand that. Like, for instance, one of my biggest highlights in trading was about 2 years ago. I turned $1,000 into $102,000 in less than 90 days, about 83 days to be exact. This was when
You turned $1,000 to $102,000 in 83 days. How?
So it was at this point in time.
Incredible.
Where,
Congratulations. How
Yeah.
the fuck you do it?
At this point in time, this is when inflation was at an all-time high.
Okay. They were injecting money, right?
Yeah, and everybody was talking about recession scares and all this
Yeah.
different type of shit. And it's not where the Dow Jones was at right now. I think back then Dow Jones was at about 35,000 at that point in time.
Where's it at now?
Dow Jones is like well over 40.
Okay.
Yeah, it's performing
That's
well.
crazy. Yeah.
But like it was about 35,000 at that point in time, and I'm looking at it, looking at the all-time high, looking at the exhaustion points, and I'm like, you know what? With all these recession scares, with all the data that's being presented before me, I'm seeing Dow Jones about to go ahead and hit about maybe around the 20s. So I was selling Dow Jones for 3 months, almost 3 months straight. Everything I was doing was sells. I wasn't even buying.
Wow.
So I was selling. So when I did the first entry on the 1,000,
Real quick, selling or shorting?
selling is the same thing.
Got it.
So if I short the Dow Jones, that's what people were saying. Stock, forex, you sell or you buy. So
Got it.
I sold. So when I was selling that, my first entry, my first set of entries, I lost. I lost about $400. So I had one entry open, and the balance is around like about 580 something. And I held that entry for like about 3 or 4 days until it reached over 1,000 and something. So I was like really holding that out. And when it reached over 1,000, at that point in time, I'm like, yo, let me start scaling in. So I start scaling in. Then eventually it grew. I was like up to about $13,000, $14,000. At that point in time, I'm like, bro, shit, for $1,000 to be $14,000, at this point, it's time for me to be reckless. And that's exactly what I was. I was like, hey, this is pretty much house money right now. I'm not using my money anymore.
Right.
So it's like, if I
Literally.
yeah, it's like if I'm losing money right now, it's like, hey, let me put a certain threshold if I was gonna go ahead and lose. And that's like for me, I was up about maybe 13, 14. I told myself, okay, if I reach back down to 5,000, I'm gonna stop. At least I got the profit 4 bands.
And the experience.
Yeah, you know? But luckily, it didn't do that. And it kept on going, and we kept on growing it up. And then after that, it was just like, yo, I cracked the code on US 30 and the different swing points about it and how I...
It's incredible. What made you take profit at 102,000 or 103,000, whatever it was? Why didn't you keep that going?
So I was actually taking profit periodically throughout the time on the trades.
Got it.
So it wasn't like I had all these trades open until 102.
Understood.
So I was actually building up the equity. Some of it I actually did withdraw throughout it, because I also paid to get a vehicle, paid to move in my old apartment. So I used that money to get that. And literally, when I looked at my history is when I was like, oh shit. Because it wasn't like an intentional like, oh yeah, I'm gonna turn this 1,000 and make this into 6 figs or whatever and all that.
Right.
I just checked my history. I was like, you know what? Let me check my history from when I did my first trade up until now and see how much money I made.
That's crazy.
And when I saw that 102, I was like, oh shit. I didn't even know I did that shit. I know I did some numbers, but I was like,
Right.
102. All right, cool, bet.
Did you pay Q to teach you, or was that all free game he gave you?
Nah, I had to pay that price.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Mentorship, guidance.
I'm real glad to hear that.
Like, if you're gonna go ahead and get mentorship from anybody, like anybody, yeah, a lot of people like free stuff, and it's cool to have free stuff. I guess you understand. Free stuff is basic level things.
Mm-hmm.
But when you actually pay for something, it holds you and somebody else accountable.
Yes.
But also at the same time, it also
get access.
shows that you have value for something that that person possesses.
Correct.
So, like, for me, I could go ahead and provide any form of information to anybody. But at the same time, why would I go out there, like, you know, be on the side of the road talking about trading X, Y, and Z, etc. I'm not going to be hitting the real people that are actually interested inside of it. I need somebody who's going to really sit down and pay attention, who's going to really sit down and listen, who's going to really sit down and say, yo, this is valuable to me, so I'm going to take it seriously. And that is a price that you have to pay. A lot of people will tell you that, oh, yeah, they're serious about it. Oh, yeah, they're coming to learn. Oh, yeah, they want to do this.
Yeah.
And you may decide to say, okay, well, hey, you don't even got to pay me. Just for me to go ahead and do it, I'll teach you. But give them 60 to 90 days. Oh, I'm going to do something else. They didn't really want it bad enough. A lot of people don't see the art, don't understand the art of consistency. And this is a message that I always live by. Consistency is not like, oh, I'm making money every time inside something, whatever. Consistency is showing up every single day without seeing no results, not just, you know, expecting that it's going to be better or whatever, but like, hey, if this is what you really want, you got to come rain or shine, win or lose, money being made, money not being made. You got
tired, not tired, even when you don't want to.
Show up because it's what you said that you want. Because a lot of people don't understand that those small steps actually really make a significant change.
Yes.
This whole entire setup, it didn't happen like this overnight.
No.
It may start off with one little camera and a laptop.
Mm-hmm. In one little tiny room.
It's like, you know, you build and build and build and build and build.
Yeah.
And now, oh, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, let's look at the early stages. And a lot of people, again, come back to the message of they want the end result, but they don't understand the journey and they don't want to enjoy the journey in the process.
No, correct. I actually got this from Mr. Beast. I was watching one of his interviews, and he said that his goal in his first 100 videos was to make each video 1% better than the previous video. Such a great mindset. So I adopted that. You know, every podcast, I want to make it 1% better.
And that's exactly how you have to make it happen.
Yeah.
And to you, it may be 1% better, but perception is also taken in many different forms.
Right.
Your version of 1% may be somebody's version of 50%.
Correct.
Or 15 or 20%. Like, you know, you can say, you know what, okay, cool. Let's add some more LED lights in the background or whatever. Mm-hmm. That's your version of 1%.
Exactly.
But to them, that might be like, oh, this is 25 or 100% better than it was yesterday. So it's like, I feel as if when people look at this, just focus on your lane, focus on your road. The reason why I was able to survive as long as I was able to survive and also be blessed with the things I was blessed with was because I never really went out there looking at what somebody else have going on. I stayed on a straight and narrow. And, you know, if it happened to just pop in front of me while I'm driving my lane, okay, cool. But I'm not going to be trying to take no detours or no turns or this and that. There's no sense in it.
Yeah. So paint me a picture of where you are in life today. Are you still doing music? Are you only trading? Are you where you want to be? What is required for you to do to be where you want to be if you're not?
Where I actually want to be right now. Honestly and truthfully, I took these, because I've only been in South America for the last 3 years.
Okay.
So I took these time to really get myself comfortable, acclimated, and then also took some time to really understood and study myself. I really wish that I took, you know, I would say within the ages of 19 up to 24, 25, I really wish I took that time out to really like study myself and know who I am as a person and stuff.
That's very mature of you.
Yeah, like I don't think I was really that self-aware. I think I was just like just enjoying those things. But now for me, what does it really look like? Well, firstly, I'm solely trading right now, but I'm also an entrepreneur at heart. So I have a few projects that I've been working on. One of them is actually BFX Society. That's my e-learning platform that I'm actually bringing to life. It's a lot of tech behind it.
Very cool.
But this e-learning platform is a little bit different. And when I say a little bit different is I've seen where there has been in my space lifestyle, like a lot of people market trading with lifestyle.
Right.
What I wanted to do was bridge the gap between the education, the lifestyle, and also I would call it the brotherhood, or, you know, you can even call it a cult. And cult is not a bad word. Cult is actually, you know, something that's very close knit. So,
When you said that, I thought of what's his name, Ricky Gutierrez,
okay,
the trader. You know what I'm talking about?
most traders I really don't study. Like, if I'm really being honest with you.
He's really, really big on YouTube. He's probably one of the biggest traders I know, and all he does is show lifestyle.
And the lifestyle does get people excited,
For sure.
right? But for me, BFX Society is something that I think will be one of my life works, where I provide the education, but I also bridge the gap between my connections and my experiences for that person to actually have it. I wanted to make something where the blueprint is for freedom seekers, like
Got it.
people who actually want to break free from whatever circumstances that they have, they can find it inside the society. Whether you're, you know, financially strapped, whether you're feeling like, you know, you don't have a family or anybody to be around or whatever, that's what BFX Society is for. So I also implemented my own social media platform within the society.
Okay.
So like how most people will use like Telegram or Discord or whatever and all that,
Right.
I coded that up. You don't need that anymore. You could add, you could message people, you could.
That's cool. Do you code?
So yeah,
Man, you're a man of many talents, huh?
in one of my lives, I was a website designer and programmer. So I do
Nice.
coding and everything myself too. As I said,
That's
money
incredible.
had to be made.
For sure.
Money had to be made. So doing all those things was something that that really made me understood that this is something that I wanted to bring as a passion project. But aside from that, I mean, building more inside the fintech space is cool. But one of the things that I really, really want to do is have my foundation fully set back inside the Bahamas. In honor of my parents, because I actually lost both of my parents. I lost my mom at 60 and I lost my dad at 21. So to actually be able to go through 7 years fully without parents and actually being able to still be at a pedestal that I am at today also speaks volume to how they actually raised me.
Wow.
So I want to
yes.
actually make sure that moving forward, I have something that shapes the young man inside my country, but also help the single mothers that's actually struggling inside my country too. So that's something that I'm also, you know, pretty much adamant about.
Can you share how that was for you, losing your mom at 16?
So that whole particular thing, and I'm still may probably release a book about it also. It's very, very crazy. So
I can help you get that book published, by the way.
thank you so much. See, guys, connections. So basically, the way that I lost my mom was very, very different than people losing parents. I'll let you know that now. My mom actually died in front of me, and she actually died by drinking a cup of water that I gave her. So
Wow.
basically, what happened was I was 16. I woke up late, and I was late for school, and I needed to get to school because there was a particular exam that I needed to go ahead and take. And if I was late, well, I'm in trouble. So I'm telling my mom, Like, yo, I gotta hurry up, go, just do et cetera. Like, I'm in frantic mode. I'm panicking, man. I gotta leave. Because where I live in a place called Coral Harbor. It's on the western side of the island, like very close to the airport, 10-minute drive. Well, actually 5-minute drive from the airport. Where I was going was on the eastern side of the island. And this is like by Montague, if you ever went to Montague Beach. So that's all the way over there.
Wow.
So for the distance, even though it's a small island, that's like about a 35 to 40-minute drive because of the traffic.
Yeah, it's far.
So
All those roundabouts.
yeah, so like, I'm rushing, man. And my mom, she was inside the bed, and we had the main bathroom was inside her room. So I went inside the room and took a shower. I found my mom on the ground outside the bed, and I'm like, yo, what's going on? I was like, man, I really don't have no time for this right now. Like, I gotta go, mom. Like, Sam. So I wasn't really paying attention to the details at this current point in time. So I left my mom inside the chair, and she, when I put on my clothes, she was back on the ground again. So I lifted her back up and put her back inside the chair, and she was like, oh, she needs some water or whatever. She can't breathe, and I give her the water. And I'm like, yo, mom, I really gotta go, So when I gave her the water, that's when I saw my mom took a breath. And like, to all those people that don't understand, and I'll tell you this right now, you can see when someone loses life. It changes inside their eyes. I saw my mother's eyes change. Like, you can see that there's no one there.
Wow.
So when I saw that, I knew that something was wrong. So I lifted her up. I tried to do CPR, call the ambulance and everything and all that. And these type of situations happened before where my mom, had either a seizure or something, and the ambulance came. She go to the hospital. Everything's gonna be fine eventually.
Got it.
So I'm thinking everything's gonna be fine eventually. So I call in the ambulance. I'm doing the CPR. My ear's next to her mouth. I'm thinking she's breathing, X, Y, and Z. Ambulance came. My uncle came, and she was pronounced dead.
Wow.
So I think because of that, I think I didn't talk for like 2 months because like my whole life actually ended up changing.
Yeah.
Because like after that, in a sense, I was like, yo, all the things that I was doing, I was like, yo, it's not even a reason for me to do it anymore. Like, it's like my mom's.
She was your reason.
Yeah, she was like the reason why I did everything. So I had to. It took me a little while to find my way back. And underneath those circumstances, I feel as if any average person, any person would have crumbled, went on drugs, drank themselves to death, do whatever. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for my grandmother. My grandmother really took up the mantle afterwards. Like, she took up the mantle. I'm also thankful for my dad because my dad also took up that mantle afterwards too.
Incredible.
So like, I think, those type of things and those type of battles was something I believe, I'm one of God's greatest soldiers, but it's also, hey, I'm going through this because I want you to spread a particular message. And that particular message was, what I think I found is, even if life is telling you no, whatever is telling you no, that is not your final answer. You determine your final answer. You determine whether this works or don't work. No one can answer that for you. So that's how, I operate now. I'm very resilient. I'm very persistent. I always get what I want inside this world. It's just a matter of when. I don't care if I'm 80. I don't care if I'm 90. I don't care if I'm 102. If I want something, I'm going to get it. And whenever I get it, I'm satisfied that I got it. Even if it was something that I wanted from a little kid, I'm still going to get it.
Man, that's quite a story. I'm very proud of you.
Yeah, thank you, man.
That's incredible. Not many people come back from that.
Yeah, not many people come back from it. It happened to me 2 times, actually. It happened to my mom and my dad. So dad had a stroke, and we were supposed to actually go to family dinner on, I think it was either Saturday or Sunday. I know it was a weekend. We were supposed to go to family dinner with me and my sister, and my sister called me and said that, our dad didn't call us to confirm if we're going to dinner or if we're still on for dinner. This is something that he always does. My dad was a military man.
Got it.
So you know how military guys go.
Yep. Bum, bum,
You know,
bum.
hey, are we doing this? Are we doing that? X, Y, and Z. So he didn't call, and I was like, okay. She's like, oh, I tried calling him. He didn't answer his phone. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna go pass up to the house and see if he's there or see what's going on. So I called her and I told her like, yo, his car's here. Like, you know, he may be sleeping or you guys may be, you know, doing something.
Right.
So I went on knock on the door and I saw him sitting down in the couch. And I'm like, hey, Dad, open up the door. He's like, okay, I'm coming. So I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm sitting there on the little porch and I'm like, okay, he coming to open the door. I see 10 minutes gone by. He didn't open the door yet. So I knock on the door again. I was like, yo, Dad, you open the door? He's like, yeah, he coming. I was like, cool. Then I realized that something was wrong. So it turns out that my dad had a stroke and he was inside that chair for like about 2 days, not being able to move. And I had to break in through the window to get to him. So when I broke in through the window, I'm there and I'm panicking, man. I'm like, yo, what's going on, X, Y, and Z? And my dad was such a mentally fortitude person, and that's something that I really wish that throughout life I obtained. He was there.
Oh, you have.
Nah, trust me. My dad was stone cold, man. He was there for 2 days. And when I broke inside his house, he was the one calming me down. And I'm like, he's like, don't worry about it, son. Everything's gonna be okay. Just relax, whatever. And I'm like, yo, clearly ain't nothing okay. Like, why are you trying to calm me down? He's like, yo, I was like, yo, can you move? He's moving his arms and stuff, but that would be it. So eventually, we got an ambulance to come to him, and by the time the ambulance came to him, he was there still cooperating and everything and all that. But by the time they got him to the hospital, there was nothing that they could do. And I think my dad literally only stayed to that point so that he can make sure that he see his kids again. Like his mental, he was not leaving until he saw his kids. And after he saw us and, you know, he was able to talk to us and everything, and the ambulance took him away, I think that's when he was like, okay, I'm done.
Man, what an incredible story.
Like I said, lifetime, please don't see my story yet. I gotta get the bio, you know, discovery and everything. But like, yeah, I mean,
Bro, how did you survive after that?
so after that part, man, ripping not only my mom but my dad, bro, I felt like, honestly and truthfully, I felt like I was cursed at one point in time because I'm like, bro, if it was like any other circumstances of losing a parent, I would have been okay. But it's like almost me reliving me losing my mom again.
The same thing twice.
Same
Yeah.
thing twice. And I'm like,
With
damn.
both parents.
Yeah, with
It's
both.
incredible.
Yeah, it's like I'm
Incredible.
like, damn, like how what's going on? Like how do I live from this? How do I live from this aspect? But I feel as if throughout time, I think everything is temporary in terms of feelings, in terms of friendships, in terms of family. Everything is temporary, but at the same time, people get so caught up with the right now emotions that they can't focus on or see anything beyond that point. And you know, that's how I see things. That's how I used to see things with relationships too. Because at one point in time, after I lost my mom, I had this girl that I was dating, and we were like, you know, serious. But I kind of like replaced my bond with her, like with my mom, like replaced her with my mom's bond. So it was like, you know, we got to make this shit work. And she was there for when my dad died. So when me and her actually separated, I felt as if like that was one of the most brutal, you know, brutal periods of my life. I'm like suicidal, depressed, this and that, etc. And I understood at that moment after my father passed away and all those type of things. I understood at that moment that you can't really try and cling on to the things that are of this world. I think you should enjoy it. I think you should have the experience with it, whether it's families, objects, or whatever. But at the same time, don't try and hold on to something so much because one day it's going to leave. You just don't know when it's going to leave. So you have to be able to now understand how to navigate from that aspect.
2 questions. What is your relationship with God? And why do you think he put you through this?
So my relationship with God is actually very good. Now I will say this. Do I talk to God every day? No. Am I a Christian or do I have some form of religion? No. I used to actually be raised inside an Anglican church and Catholic church. However, I know when God is talking to me, and I know when I need something from God, He will provide it for me. And it's sometimes inside very twisted versions or very laughable versions and stuff like that. But hey, me and him have a very good banter.
Yeah.
And I feel as if like, he did this to me because technically I was not even supposed to be here.
Really?
The main reason why I said that is because my mom was actually supposed to be barren. She was not supposed to have kids.
Really?
Not supposed to have kids. My grandmother always used to tell
So
me this story.
you are a gift from God.
Yeah,
then.
like not supposed to have kids.
From the beginning.
From the beginning to the end.
You're a special dude, bro.
Yeah. It was at one point where my grandmother told me a story where my mom was trying to have kids so many times. She could not get pregnant. She could not keep a kid. She could not. And she went to the doctor. Doctor said there's nothing that they could go ahead and do. And my mom said that she had a dream, and she told my grandmother this, that God told her that she was going to have two kids. She was going to have, two kids, me and then another child or whatever the situation may be. And before my mom got pregnant, she was at work, and it was this woman. She was pregnant and having twins. And my mom wanted to have babies so bad, and this woman was teasing my mom, and she told her, "Oh, when I have, when I have this baby, I want to give you one or whatever, X, Y, and Z," because my mom really wanted a kid, and that really, to say something to somebody who really wanted to be a mother, that's mean.
Yeah.
My mom came home crying to my grandmother. My mom came home crying to my grandmother about that. Yeah. And when she finally had me, I was spoiled. Like, I'm talking about spoiled, man. I was spoiled. After that, my mom got her tubes tied, and I think God did everything that He did to me because He probably knew the type of person I was going to be if my mom was alive and well and never sick. And when I talk about that, I would have been probably acting like one of those trust fund babies, where it's like, yo, don't worry about it. My mom got this. Or if I get in trouble, my mom was going to come and bail me out.
You've been a spoiled little brat.
An example of that was back then a Game Boy SP came out.
Okay.
And my mom went away and bought the SP for all of my cousins and me. And my cousin got a black Game Boy SP and had a red one. I didn't want the red one. I want the black one because it looked good on my cousin. So I was like, you know what? That's going to look good on me. And I'm bitching, bro. I'm fucking crying. I'm just like, nah, I don't want this red one. I want the black one. No, don't give me this shit. And I broke it. And 2 days or a day later, my mom came and gave me a black Game Boy SP.
Oh, my God.
Like, literally. And I'm like,
you had it like that.
I had it like that. Like my mom was the type of person. I remember she picked me up from school one time early. And this is when she was well. And I'm like, yo, Mom, where we going? She's like, yo, we going away. I was like, what were we going away for? She's like, because I feel like it. That's my mom. So it's like, if I had that version of my mom growing up now, I would have probably either been somewhere where I may have probably been inside a lot of legal problems. Like, I'm thinking I'm the shit. You can't touch me, whatever, X, Y, and Z. I would have probably been the ones that was going to be, doing all the bullying. And I don't think that's something that God actually had for me. So He's like, you know what?
That's incredible.
Long story wise, I think I need to shape you into this person than, you going back down, like you going down this path. So I saw it all. I saw, being rich. I saw being middle class. I saw being poor. I saw light getting turned off, not knowing how to pay for this, eating, tuna and rice. Like, I saw all of it. So I'm able to appreciate what it is not to have nothing, and also appreciate when I'm able to actually have something. And not a lot of people are able to do that. Like, if you was to go ahead and take everything away from somebody right now, they don't know how to bounce back. They don't know how to get everything back or whatever. And that's the exact same thing too with, you have people that's poor and they hit the lottery or they won. They don't understand how to
Blow all that
maintain
fucking
that.
money. No.
They fuck it up. So it's like that's something that I really appreciate God for putting me through.
Do you know how incredible it is for you to go through what you went through and to have the perspective that you have? That's incredible, bro. It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody.
That whole entire thing was such an amazing thing where long term now, like me and God have those conversations and those type of things and the visions that he provide me. And I know it's going to be something, mind blowing to this world, but also how I see it too is like, hey, if you want to give it to me, I'll take it. I'm not going to complain about it. Like, I'm not, like literally I remember, even with my new spot right now, it was, I had a certain situation that happened to me with one of my CPAs and stuff like that. So I'm dealing with some legal things with them, but it was to a point where I was like, okay, cool. I'm pretty much using one of my last to actually do all this moving, all this different type of stuff. And something just told me like, bro, take this money, put this money inside the market. That's it. I was like, all right, cool, whatever. I'm taking a gamble on myself. I'm doing it. I took this money, I put it in the market. 24 hours later, I paid all of my moving expenses, paid for the new apartment, paid for all of the bills that I have for the whole entire month. I paid for everything. And
you still keep that money.
I still keep that money in 24
That's
hours.
incredible.
And all I could have do was when I did it and I took the money out, I guess was standing there and I'm between laughing, I'm between crying, I'm between like, bro, like, yo, what's
what
going
the
on?
fuck?
Like, what's the fuck going on? But then I was like, when I looked at it too, I'm like, God, I asked you to help me out, and you guys helped me out. And I feel as if like when people need to understand that your circumstances can change literally overnight if you have that faith, but also if you just have that determination to make it happen.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
Man, you're so powerful, bro. You really are. Fuck.
Man, I don't think I'm that powerful. I'm just a
you
regular
are.
guy that do extraordinary things, man.
Well, you are powerful enough to allow him to work through you.
Yeah, I try to. I feel as if being able to take accountability and also being able to move forward, I think that's one thing that I'm really, proud about. I'm not perfect, I'm not a saint, but I feel as if at the end of the day, you still gotta move forward.
Yeah.
You still gotta, continue to moving forward, continue to push. And then it's gonna be a point where you're able to persevere long enough where everything is just smooth out. But I think a lot of people, when they now have to, do that fight, they get a little bit stagnant because it's like, yo, what's the point in doing it? To me, it's not the point in doing it. It's just doing it. Like, let's get it out of the way. Whether it's give me something good or bad, at least I did it. At least I understood. Like, one thing I can say about myself is if you quit, that's automatic failure. You never know what's going to be on the, there's like two versions you can look at it, or three.
Yeah.
Like, and I look at this as with trading also. I can either make money or I can lose money. But at the end of the day, at least I know the outcome of the two. It's either making money or losing money. It is what it is. So am I able to live with those two outcomes? Okay. So that's how I look at it.
Are you an Avengers fan?
Marvel, yeah, I see the Captain America, aspect of that. But Avengers, no. I don't think I'm really a main, Avengers guy. I'm not saying that I don't like the movies, but like a lot of people.
You understand it, but you know about it,
Yeah,
right?
I know about it. Yeah.
Okay. This is Thor's hammer. Okay? In order to be able to lift Thor's hammer, you got to be worthy,
Yeah.
right? So do me a favor. Hold on to this hammer for me,
You want me to take it home?
if you want to.
It's a nice hammer, man.
It's nice, right?
Yeah.
It's nice weight to it.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It's not like one of those little props. It's actually
Right.
Yeah, you can actually knock somebody out with this, bro.
You really can.
So for y'all invaders, you gotta be careful, man. This Thor hammer got some weight to it.
You are most definitely someone worthy?
Of course.
What would you say to someone who feels unworthy and unvalued? What would you say to open that door for them, to allow them to walk in and understand and feel their own worthiness?
That's a very good question. Like, that's a real good question. And I feel as if, honestly, you gotta, like, be almost like Michael Jackson, man in the mirror. Go inside the mirror right there, look at yourself, and you have to figure out what you want. I feel as if, personally, a lot of individuals, they're living based on families' wants and needs, or families' perspectives, based on what they see social media perspectives is, but they're so programmed on and influenced by others that they really don't understand and truly figure out what they want or what they need. And that's something that I'm also myself going through and figuring out, like, yo, I don't want this, I don't want that. And you have to figure that out through experience. If you don't feel as if you're worthy or you're not valued, do things that makes you valued, that makes you value yourself. So, like, for instance, if you are, and we can keep it simple, if you don't like the way that you look and you don't feel as if, like, yo, this is not the proper, way for me or whatever, well, do something to make you look better so that you can value yourself more. Whether that may be going inside the gym, whether that may be you doing liposuction, whatever result make you feel better, go ahead and do it. That doesn't mean that you can take the shortcut or whatever and all that. For me, I go to the gym. I want to try and, work off the fat or whatever. I gain a lot of pounds. But, hey, do whatever whatever gets that result for you to actually value yourself. When I look back at everything that I've actually done inside this whole entire time frame, I've done so many things in 3 years since I've been here inside America that is pretty much unheard of. When I first came to America, I actually got a job opportunity over the Bahamas, and I was actually inside one of Grant Cardone's groups. So he had a free Facebook group, and what I was doing was I was literally making posts and asking everybody who wants a website to be designed. So people were hitting me up. I got people in Australia, and I'm doing like the consultations, whatever. Like I said, money needs to get made. Hustling. It was this woman, Monet Long. She's like my adopted mom. She wanted me to actually help her with all of her business. She had like 6 or 7 companies, multimillionaire lady. And she was like, and I told her, like, we was on a Zoom call, and she's like, oh, she need me there. Like, you could do all this for me. I want you around me. I was like, yo, don't tell me that because I'm on the next flight out. And so be it. She paid for my ticket. She gave me a place to stay, whatever, and all that. And when I left from Bahamas, I kissed my grandmother goodbye, did all my little things, but I left on a one-way ticket and $1,000. That was it. And I did what I had to do to come here, get what I had to get done. At $1,000 now, allow me to have my own car, allow me to have my own place, allow me to actually impact so many different people, abroad, here, back at home. So it's like, for people who don't value or see their worth, understand that you have a whole entire life to live. Your circumstances can change literally. Coming from a little old kid from Bahamas, third world country, losing both of his parents, hustling, I'm here on a podcast. People want to hear what I have to say. So it's like, that. Why can't it be anybody else? And that's something that I learned by seeing everybody. Like, when I look at Q Banks, when I look at these other creators, when I look at not even just creators, athletes, when I look at like some of my friends that are, way off successful, I look at them, I don't look at them like, oh, I idolize them. Like, I'm not an idolizer. I'm a guy, if he could do it, I could do it too. He ain't nothing different, he ain't nothing special.
Yep.
Like, I'm the type of dude, like for instance, you could go ahead and do a whole half-court short and you're a professional basketball player. I'm like, oh, yo, hold my bear. I can do it too. Like, it may take me a little bit longer to get it done, but I'm going to still be able to do it because everybody's human. We all bleed the same. No one bleed no green color, blood or whatever. Like, we all bleed the same. So we all have, a brain, eyes, such. it just may take you a little bit harder time, but it doesn't mean that it cannot get done. It doesn't mean that.
Man, you are so inspirational. Seriously, I cannot wait to see what you do next. You have touched and will touch so many lives. Your story is powerful. You're powerful. You're driven. You're determined. You're going to kill it, bro.
The right environment, I think I'll do more than just kill it, but I feel as if, and that's a hint to you guys too, sometimes your environment may be stunting you, but you got to make sure that the conditions is right. Success is always made on the right conditions. And if you study all of the greats, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, successful billionaires, or you're not guys even successful billionaires like you're successful, you have your whole clinic, you have your podcast, and people don't understand the version of success or their definition of success is quantified by money.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be quantified by money.
No, it's happiness and joy.
Yeah,
and peace.
happiness and joy and peace.
Freedom.
Exactly. So like if you look at the different conditions of what make that person successful on their own right, a lot of people could realize that, bro, I'm already successful as it is.
Yes.
Comparison is a thief of joy.
Oof.
Why would I want to go ahead and compare what Bill Gates got going on, whatever, X, Y, and Z? Bill Gates may have all the money in the world, but that doesn't mean that he's happy. He may be dealing with so many different things.
Even he got divorced.
Yeah, so many different things, and that doesn't make him the happiest or whatever and all that. He may be painting all these different things on social media and painting a lie to you guys, but at home he probably crying at night. You never know.
You never
know. So
know.
you can't compare what someone else got going on to your life. And that's why I always tell people, just focus on what you got. Focus on making what you got better.
I appreciate that so much. Let me grab this hammer back from you. Yes, before you take it home. Do me a favor, that's your camera right there. Let the people know where they can find you, what's your IG, website, whatever you want to give out.
So, guys, my name is Denzel Jace Johnson. You can find me on Instagram at JSpankz, so that's JAYCEBANKZ, because there's a lot of fake Instagrams out there. Only the one with the verified, just so you know. TikTok is the same. Website, if you actually want to, be a freedom seeker, you actually want to join the movement, bfxsociety.com, the all-in-one platform that will be actually having lifestyle, education, community, you name it, and we're only just getting started. So it's really a pleasure talking to you guys, talking to you, Leo, and hope that you guys actually get inspired.
If y'all can't get inspired by this man's story, you don't have a fucking pulse. Because I was here almost in tears. Guys, make sure you go follow Denzel, join his group, watch what he's doing. This is a man driven, going places. Like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. We'll see you guys next time.